Big week. Obviously, it's a big game because of who we're playing. It's a big deal around here in every sport. The 6 coaches, the 5 other coaches that you got to listen to today, it's really a refreshing deal and an amazing atmosphere that we have around here, and we have some great people leading young individuals that I'm super excited to be a part of. But it's the entire culture of this athletic department that Eddie has created. And it's given this place an opportunity to be successful because of the people that are around here. And I think one of the biggest pitches that we have in recruiting, we've got facilities that are good enough to compete in our league. Obviously, everybody wants to be better all the time, and we've got a lot of things in place to get better. And that's another thing that Eddie and David have done a phenomenal job. But it's the people you're going to be around that give you the chance to be successful. And for the youngsters, everybody has nice buildings. Everybody has great weight rooms. That's going to be an unbelievable venture down there in that building. But it's the people that help build people. And that's the reason that we're having success around here, is because of the culture that's been created. We've made progress, but we are exactly who I said we were going into this season, a competitive football team that needs to learn how to win. And obviously we made some changes this week that I felt was necessary for the direction of our program, because I think we should be better than we are. And when you have enough talent to be competitive and you're not winning, then it's the coaching aspect of it that makes the biggest difference. And so for us to have the best chance to be successful, that was what transpired over the last couple of days. I thought practice out there, the energy was good. It's a big change for those kids. The change is the voice. Now, I set the stage for the entire program, and that hasn't changed. And the meeting that we had with the offensive kids on Sunday was really, really good, and I thought Heath did a great job coming in and setting the plan of what was going to be going forward. It's not a major overhaul. We're not installing an entire new system. We're just having a little bit different voice from the top and a different play caller on game day. And so this Saturday down there is a really big deal. Now, Coach Kill, I have a great ton of respect for him and what he's done in his career. He's a winner, and he's won everywhere he's gone. And he's got those kids playing really, really hard. They played really, really hard against UTEP and had a chance to tie the ball game up on the last series, coming back from 20-3. There was no quit, and that's all coming from the top. That's what he's getting the belief installed in those kids. And then the aspect of this game being a rivalry game, which it is, regardless of what people want to say, it's a big deal for them. It's a big deal for us. Everybody knows my true feelings about it. So we're going to take this week to prepare and go down there, and it's going to be a very competitive, very physical, great football game. And just like I said 2 weeks ago, the last 8 games are going to be very similar. It's going to come down to who makes the most plays, who in the critical moments can get their kids to react the best, because that's the coaching aspect of it that we need to change and fix. And so we can talk a little bit about Wyoming. We had 2 really good drives on offense and didn't do anything else the rest of the game. Had opportunities and didn't capitalize. Punt return team did a great job. Jermaris Lewis did a great job returning a punt to the 12-yard line, and we get a field goal blocked. We missed a field goal going into halftime that would have given us a 10-point lead, and we were not able to overcome that, both mentally and then the aspect of when it came down to it, 20-14, we had an opportunity to drive down and win the game. We get to about midfield and throw a pick 6. So obviously, after the game, I told the kids that that's our fault, because we have enough talent, so we need to do something to give them a better chance. And so that's been the focus over the last couple of days. And Saturday will be the first opportunity at that chance. Who's got questions? That easy? For this week? We're good? No?
No, it's just as someone who's from here and someone that played here, what does the rivalry mean to you?
It's a big deal. Our kids know how big of a deal it is. We've had a ton of former players that have come and have given their opinion on this. So the kids down in that locker room know how big of a deal it is. They know my true feelings, and we'll go play the game on Saturday.
Yeah, how different are the two quarterbacks?
Statistically, they're not very different at all. I have a ton of respect for Diego Pavia. I've known him since he was, at St. Pius, and then went to Volcano Vista. He came to camps when I was at Arizona State. He is a tough-minded. He was a wrestler in high school. He led Volcano Vista to an undefeated season. He won a national championship at NIMI. He's a competitive young man, and I think he's done a really good job in the first 6 games that they played. They have not played. They had their bye week this week to help them get a little bit freshened up, but they started in 0 week a week before us. They played a couple Power 5 schools. They played a rivalry game, and he showed great competitiveness in all of them. Now, Gavin Frakes is a 6'4" kid that's really athletic, can run. They don't change the offense for whichever quarterback is in, and I think Coach Gill's trying to find the one that's going to be the most consistent. They've been very similar at times. If you watch them against Hawaii, they looked really, they were very efficient in what they were doing. And last week, FIU gave them some trouble. UTEP gave them some trouble in the first half, and then they were really good in the second half. So Gavin's 6'4" and Diego isn't, and that's about the difference. They're both competitive, they're both athletic, and they both run. And their receivers have dropped a few passes that could have changed some of those things. I hope that continues, but they've got some guys that are able on the outside. They're big. Their 2 receivers are 6'3" and 6'4", and they go and they compete for the ball and make competitive catches. So they've changed that roster a little bit. Coach Gill did a really good job in the first year, and it shows. Go ahead, Sam.
Coach, with the offense, not even X's and O's, but are you noticing anything about the offense over the course of a game, whether it's confidence or if they're tightening up when it gets to the end? Just when those when those drives start to pile up, whether are you noticing anything about the offense that maybe you want to change that's not football related?
Well, I didn't like the energy on the second half, and I think a lot of that comes with belief. I thought there was times that we didn't give them chances to be successful, and I thought it was starting to show on the sideline. And so that's the big challenge this week is having better answers. Wyoming did not make a magical schematic change. They were getting comfortable with what we were doing. They were starting to sit on some things on the perimeter. We didn't do a great job of getting open in the secondary. I thought the offensive line did a great job in protection. And a lot of people were getting frustrated with Miles because he's standing back there and not throwing the ball. He didn't have anywhere to throw it. And there's a couple times he should have tucked it and ran a little bit sooner. But we've got to do a better job of getting open, but also giving them some concepts that are more feasible to get open. And we've got some guys that can do that. So that's been a big challenge over the last couple days.
What did you like from what you saw from Justin Holiday?
I think I saw what everybody else saw. He's a big physical kid that's not afraid. On the last drive, he's got a really strong arm. Need to continue. You have to remember he didn't get here until almost August. He was here for the second half of July. We thought we had a couple other kids that would have been here for the entire summer, and we lose a kid to Oklahoma that hasn't played a single down yet. We lose a kid to USC that hasn't played a single down yet. And I say that because I want those kids to hear it, because if you love playing football, put yourself in an opportunity to play. Caleb Williams is a great player at USC. Should have been factored in. Daniel Gabriel is a great player at Oklahoma. Now he got hurt. But those are the kind of things that if kids love to play football, they need to have a realistic vision of it. So we got on Justin late, which hampered his development a little bit. But he's done a great job of learning what to do, of giving himself an opportunity to perform. And then obviously, he had two really good runs in the first half. One was a touchdown. One was about a 15-yard gain on a triple play. He's got a strong arm. Some of those things, that they made an adjustment that I don't think we handled very well in the second half. So we got out of some of those packages with Justin that we should have stayed with. Those are the things that we've talked about to give our kids a chance to be successful. But he's a talented young man.
Coach, what's the attitude and competitive spirit like on your team right now with a couple of disappointments behind you?
I think that's a big challenge, Henry. I think that's our football team knows they're competitive, but they're frustrated. And all the work that you put in when you don't get a result can really hamper how you approach every day. The thing that they control, and we preach all the time, effort, attitude, and want to. Creating a positive environment, because you can cuss them and you can scream and yell at them, and what's that going to do? Make you feel better? Maybe. It's not going to make them feel better, and it's not going to be productive for them. And so keeping the positive attitude, now I think there's a fine line between being a rah-rah guy and being positive and keeping them going. I think Nicole made a great phrase, and that's, if that's who they expect every day, if you start to panic and you become somebody you're not, they're going to see right through it. And I thought at times today they were still feeling a little bit sorry for themselves. And by kickoff, I thought it was really good kickoff period during practice. We got some physical contact that bumped each other around, and all of a sudden their competitive spirit raised a little bit. So we do some things around here different sometimes in order to get that going earlier. Probably should have started the practice with kickoff, because I thought it was pretty good after that. And that's all, feeling sorry for yourself. And nobody their girlfriends and moms might. Nobody else does, nor should they.
Coach, along those lines, what's the attitude and energy been like from the guys that missed out last week, like Luke and Jordan and Sherrod?
They're here to work. I don't believe in those guys being raw guys and getting up in front of guys in Nepal. I don't believe in that. I mean, they didn't meet our standard. So they worked hard today, but that's the expectation, and that's where they'll continue to go forward.
Are they going to play this week?
As of right now, yes.
Danny, in your experience, how much of an advantage is to have had a bye week when your opponent played the previous Saturday?
There's two ways of looking at it, and I think it was probably advantageous for New Mexico State this year because of the long slate they've had and who they played. I mean, you travel to Wisconsin, you travel to Minnesota. Those are long trips, and they do take a lot out of you, regardless of how the game went. I mean, that's a big scenario. So starting in 0 week, so you brought those kids here a week earlier than 90% of the country. I mean, that's a long haul up until now. So I think right at that point, I think it's really good for them. If you're on a roll and you're playing really good football, which neither school is right now, it can be a disadvantage. So, I mean, it probably came at a good time for them. And we have 2 more weeks, and that 2 more weeks will probably be a good time for us. But I don't. You can look at it both ways. But I think I probably came at a good time for Coach Kill and his group.
Coach, you mentioned on the radio yesterday that you thought Luke Weisson to get the ball a little bit more in his hands. Has it been a boost to his confidence, perhaps, that his former head coach in high school is not going to call him to play? I'm
sure in his mind it is. And Luke was a really, really good high school player, that he was the best player on that team. And Coach Reidenauer did a really, really good job of giving him opportunities to be successful. And I think he's got some ideas of how he can use Luke to be successful. But Luke's surrounded by guys that are equally talented, so that's a good positive thing to have. We don't have to design everything around Luke. And I think it'll help Luke, because I think Luke has tried to, early on, really press to be Superman. He doesn't need to be. And so I'm sure there's a level of comfort from the 4 years that he was with him at Cleveland. But I mean, we're gonna design it to get all of our best players the best situations they can to be successful.
Is Miles a starter?
Miles is a starter. Miles, a couple things. One, Miles, up until the last 2 series, played better than a lot of people think. Now, he didn't play great, but he didn't make mistakes until the very end. And the pick 6, I mean, that's a combination of Wyoming was getting really comfortable sitting on concepts that we had run a bunch of times and saw it, recognized it, and Ford made a great play. And those are the kind of things I'm talking about. We could have set him up to make that same great play and then run by him. Making a quarterback change right now could have been really, really difficult with all the change that we've had already. And Miles doesn't deserve to be not playing. Justin will have a package. I think Justin did some really good things on Saturday night, and we'll continue down that road. And then we'll continue to evaluate him every week. But Miles is our starting quarterback, and will for Saturday night. It's a good question.
So Justin jumped CJ for the number 2?
Right now, CJ's not 100% healthy, but I thought at the same time Justin did some really good things on Saturday. So he is going into this game. That it? Good. Drive down to Las Cruces. It's only 3 hours. It'll be a lot of fun on Saturday night.